MSNBC election expert stuns Morning Joe host, reveals Trump's growing Hispanic support. This is no shock to me. This is no shock to anyone paying attention. The Hispanic population is more traditional, more conservative than people give them credit for. A lot of these policies, a lot of the stuff that the left is pushing out, a lot of Hispanics are opposed to. You know, there's a lot of Hispanic Catholics, there's a lot of Hispanic Christians that don't believe in any of this nonsense that the left is pushing. So this is really no surprise to me. That's why I see we've been talking about the Hispanics supporting Trump in numbers we never seen before. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, so let's talk about this news now. This comes from Trending Politics from Michael, and he reports that Steve Kornacki, a national political correspondent for NBC News, revealed some good news for the GOP in the state of Pennsylvania on Wednesday. Former President Donald Trump is now growing in popularity among Hispanic voters ahead of the general election in November. During an appearance on the network, Kornacki stated that Democrats have taken significant hits in support among Hispanic majority cities in Berks County, Lee County, and Luzerne County in the critical battleground state. According to Kornacki, Democratic support dropped from 45 points down to 35 points. Wow. Between elections held in 2012 and 2020. In the city of Allentown, a total of 54% of Allentown is Hispanic, data taken from the last 3 presidential elections revealed. So I'm not going to quote what he says. I'm just going to play the clip here. Here we go.
Over at the big board with a look at the Keystone State.
Yeah, John, well, let's take a look kind of building on what George was just taking you through there. Big picture in Pennsylvania. And by the way, when you do all of these road to 270 scenarios, I think everyone probably does these at home at some point. It is hard almost for either candidate to find that path to 270 without Pennsylvania. It's so big in terms of the number of electoral votes in that battleground type of state there. So it's such a crucial state, even among the battlegrounds. And the range here is so narrow. 2020, when Biden carried the state, look at it. The margin was about 80,000 votes statewide. Now, remember, Trump carried it in 2016 over Hillary Clinton. The margin then was about 44,000 votes. So between 44,000 for Trump, 80,000 for Biden in a state this big. That's the kind of area we're talking about in terms of, you know, the number of votes you need to swing. And that's why what George was just talking about is so significant, because we talk so much about the Philly burbs. We talk about Pittsburgh. But, you know, he's talking there about Berks County, where Reading is, Lehigh County, where Allentown is, Luzerne County, that's where Hazleton is. Those 3 cities have the highest share of Hispanic population of any cities in Pennsylvania, and something very interesting politically happening in those 3 cities. Because remember, we're showing you here, between 2016 and 2020, Pennsylvania moved toward the Democrats. It went from Trump to Biden. It moved several points to the left. But in those heavily Hispanic cities, the 3 biggest by concentration in the state, take a look. Here's Allentown, Lehigh County. This has the highest concentration of Hispanics in Pennsylvania. It's 54% Hispanic. And look at this. The trend has been toward Republicans. The state was moving toward the Democrats between 16 and 20. But in Allentown, Clinton won it by 42 in 16, fell down to 35 in 2020. This is an area we've talked so much about, the polls showing Trump making more inroads with Latino voters. This is the kind of place where the Trump folks think this trend can continue. Can they knock it down into the 20s this time? Could they do even better than that? Again, you'll see it here. City of Hazleton. Look at the transformation of Hazleton in 2000. She was 5% Hispanic. Now more than 60% Hispanic. And again, look at this trend. It was blue in 2012, Hazleton was, for Obama. And then Trump comes along, he carries it by 5, he improves it to 11. Again, this is the kind of place that Trump folks think they can do better. And again, this is very much a majority Hispanic city. Or Reading, again, this is where George was, in Berks County. And you just take a look right here. It's overwhelmingly Democratic, but look, from 2012 when Barack Obama won re-election to 2020 when Biden carried Pennsylvania. That's a drop of basically 20 points in the Democratic margin here in a heavily Hispanic city. So
he is definitely trending in Trump's direction, barring any type of shenanigans, of course. It's definitely trending in his direction right now.
Trend in the most Hispanic cities in Pennsylvania, as the state was getting more Democratic in 2020, they were becoming more Republican. So when you think of that very narrow margin there, overall statewide, Biden winning by 80,000, Trump winning by 44,000, these are the kinds of cities where the Trump campaign thinks continue this improvement. There could be tens of thousands of votes that switch just because of that. So that's the significance within Pennsylvania. Do make one point here, though. The early polling we're seeing with Harris getting in Biden's place is suggesting that maybe, and I stress maybe, she is improving her performance among Hispanic voters relative to where Joe Biden was. That's obviously something very important to keep an eye on.
I do not see Hispanics voted for Kamala Harris. I don't see it. I really don't.
So fascinating.
Oh, that's all for it. But I really don't see that. Kornacki then shifted focus on Hazleton, Pennsylvania, which has a Hispanic population of 63%, examining past election results from the demographic. One city that has experienced a massive drop in support for Democrats in the state is Reading. The city has a Hispanic population of 67% and has seen support for the left go from 64 points back in 2012 to 45 points in 2020. So yeah, y'all see it there, and they might get a little bump because of the newness of Kamala Harris, taking over for Biden and stuff like that. But from just anecdotally looking at what's going on the internet, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that do not like Kamala Harris. They think she's inauthentic, she's fake, and she's pretending to be someone she's not, mainly black. Even Judge Joe Brown came out and said that he talked to Kamala Harris' dad years ago, and Kamala Harris' own dad said that he was not black. He said that he was Hindu or Indian and Irish. So she is not black, no matter how much the media try to cape and pretend that she's black. Remember when she was in California, she was the first Indian DA, the first Indian senator, and all of this. No mention of her being black until she decided to run for president in 2020. That's when we start hearing about her being black. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.